Hello everybody, I am Amit Maru and today in this video we are going to discuss one of the most important topic, that is how to make virtual server on cloud. In my last video we have discussed about how we can create free tier account on AWS, and using that account we will create today virtual Windows server on AWS. So I hope you all have now your own ID and password of AWS. It means that you have already created one free tier account on AWS. And I am trying to make this video very easy with all the steps so that you can easily create your virtual Windows server, or you can create any virtual server on AWS. So stay tuned to the end of the video. First of all, let me get started with outline of our today's video. In our today's video, first we will discuss about basics about EC2. This EC2 is nothing but Elastic Cloud Computing. We already discussed in our past video. So I will give brief idea about EC2, because using this EC2 we can create virtual machine on the cloud. Second, we will discuss about steps to create virtual machine on AWS. So there are certain steps that you need to follow to create virtual machine or virtual server on AWS. And last, that is very much important, in that we will have one demo on how to create virtual machine on AWS. So let's first discuss about basics of EC2. As we discussed, EC2 is a service provided by AWS and it is available in compute domain. By using EC2 we can create virtual machine on cloud. So the EC2 is a service provided by AWS under compute domain, and the full form of EC2 is Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. As I said, what is use of EC2? It is a service provided by AWS, and using this EC2 we can create virtual machine or virtual server on Amazon cloud, and we can create as per our own choice of configuration. This virtual machine or virtual server is also known as instance. This keyword that you need to retain, because normally we will use instance in place of virtual machine or virtual server. So virtual server, virtual machine is known as instance. By using EC2 you can create multiple virtual server with different operating system like Linux, Microsoft Windows, Ubuntu, etc. So in short we can say what is use of EC2. It is service provided by AWS and it is under compute domain, and using this EC2 we can create virtual machine on the cloud. Now let us have a brief idea about how we can create virtual server or virtual machine on cloud by using EC2 instance. So the first step is you have to log in on aws.amazon.com. In our last video we discussed that how we can create a free tier account on aws.amazon.com. So I hope you all have your own ID and password. Use this ID and password and log in on aws.amazon.com. Once you log in, then you will have a different menus. In that there are number of services provided by AWS, and this list of services there are number of domains. You have to select one domain. This domain is known as compute domain. Under this compute domain there will be one service, that is EC2. You have to just select, you have to just click on EC2, then you have to follow certain steps to create virtual machine, virtual server on the cloud. So what is first step to create virtual machine, virtual server of the cloud? So as we discussed, EC2 is infrastructure as a service. So it will provide whole infrastructure, and rest of the thing you have to manage. It means that you can select operating system, you can select database, you can select storage, etc. So what is the first step? Choose an Amazon machine image. It is known as AMI. So there will be list of operating system. The first step is you have to select any operating system. For example, if you want to make a Linux server, then you have to select Linux as an operating system. If you want to make Microsoft Windows server, then you have to select Microsoft Windows as a server. Next step, choose instance type. As we already discussed, instance is nothing but our virtual machine. So which kind of machine you want, that you need to select. But we have created a free tier account, and in this free tier account we have only one choice, that is T2 micro. This is the type of instance that we need to select because it is free of cost. So select T2 micro instance type. Now third step is configure instance. In configure instance, there will be number of options. In demo, I will give brief idea about all the options and how we can configure instance, that we'll discuss in detail. Step number 4, add storage. Now as we discussed, we have our own option where we can select storage. So there will be different types of storage availabilities there. You can select any one option, that we'll discuss in detail in demo. Then step number 5, add tags. You can give one tag also. How we can give tag, that we'll discuss in demo. Then configure security group. You can create one security group and you can enable some port as per your requirement in this step number 6. And last, that is review. In that, whatever we have chosen, for example operating system, then types of instance, configuration instance, whatever we have added, storage, added tags, everything will be displayed, and we can verify whether it is correct as per our requirement or not in our last step, that is review. So these all are the certain steps that we need to follow to create virtual machine, virtual server on the AWS. And today we are going to create virtual server, that is our Microsoft Windows Server 2019 on AWS. So let's get started our demo on how we can create virtual machine on AWS. As we already discussed, you have to just log in on aws.amazon.com. You have your own ID and password, so just enter ID and password and start Amazon console. This demo will be very much interesting and definitely you will enjoy, because we are going to create a virtual server on cloud. So first of all, you have to open any browser and you have to type aws.amazon.com. So once we click on enter, then there will be one website of Amazon. In that, there is a one option that is sign in to the console. So I hope you all have a ID and password. So just click here and then enter your ID and password. So here you have to choose a root user, and then here you have to type email address. This is our user ID, and then you have to click on next. Once you enter correct ID and password, then there will be this kind of console, that is AWS management console. In this AWS console, you can see your account name here, and then after you can select any region. Here there are number of regions, for example US East, US West and California, then Africa, then Asia Pacific Hong Kong, Asia Pacific Mumbai. There are number of regions in that data center of AWS is available. You can select any region, but suppose we are selecting our region, that is Asia Pacific Mumbai region. So just select Asia Pacific Mumbai region here. Once we select Asia Pacific Mumbai region, in Mumbai there may be a number of data center in different zone. So you can also select one zone that we'll discuss later on. And here there is a support in that different forums, support center, expert help, documentation, training information, everything is available in this support menu. In this menu here you can see services. You just click here, then you can get information about all the services. We already discussed a few services about AWS. We have discussed AWS has a different domain. For example, compute, in that number of services are there. Storage, inside the number of services are there. Database is domain, in that number of services are there. Customer engagement is a domain, in that number of services are there. So there are number of domains, under that domain number of services are there. So as per the step number 1, we have to select EC2 and it is under the compute domain. So you have to just select EC2 here and just click on that. Once we click on EC2, you will get another page. Here you can get information about a resource. For example, instance running 0, elastic IP 0, key page 0. In that page you have to just scroll down, and below you can get one option that is a launch instance. You have to just click here on launch instance. Once we click on launch instance, there are two options. One is launch instance and second one is launch instance from template, but this is disabled, so we have only one option, that is launch instance. So click on that. Then after, there are number of steps. These all the steps we already discussed. Step number 1, in that you have to choose Amazon machine image. It means that you have to choose any operating system. For example, there are number of options: Amazon Linux, then after Red Hat Enterprise, then Ubuntu server, Microsoft Windows 2019, Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base with containers, Microsoft Windows Server 2019 with SQL Server, then Microsoft Windows Server 2004, 2016. There are the list of servers available here. You can select any server as per your requirement, as per your need. But from this list you have to choose a server which is eligible for the free tier. So find out the server. For example, here Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base with container, it is a free tier eligible. Above another option, that is a Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base, it is also eligible for the free tier. So you can select any operating system or server which is eligible for the free tier. So for example, we are creating Microsoft Windows Server 2019 which is eligible for the free tier. So select here, you just click on select, and then after our next step, that is a choose instance type. We already discussed in our choose instance type we can select as per our requirement, as per our need. So there are number of different types of instance available. For example, T2 Nano, T2 Micro, T2 Small, and here information about the CPU is also available, memory information is also available, instance storage in GB is also available, network performance is also available. So as per the need, as per the requirement, we can select any instance. Just take one example. Suppose if we select this i3 large, at that time the CPU is to 15.3 GB RAM is available, and up to 10 gigabit network performance is also available. So which kind of requirement we have, based on that we can select instance type. But from this list we have only one option, that is T2 Micro, which is free tier eligible. You can read here, micro instance are eligible for the AWS free usage tier. So this is only one option that we can choose as a free tier account. So just select it, and then next, configure instance details. So now we need to go on our next step, that is configure instance. Now step number 3, that is configure instance. You can configure your instance as per your requirement. So the first option is number of instance, how many instance you want to launch. You can launch multiple instances at a time. For example, we want to launch only one instance, so we can put here 1, and by default it is 1. Second one is purchasing option. Here we can request for this spot instance, and request spot instance to take advantage of the lower pricing actually. So once we click here, then you can get availability zone and current price also, but this is for the demo purpose, so that we are not going to check. Next one is network. By default it is VPC network, default network is available. You can create a new VPC network also. Subnet, here no preference given by default, but you can give a preference also. For example, once we click here, then you can get different preference. As we already chosen Mumbai as a region, so in Mumbai region there are number of availability zone. So one zone is South 1C, second one is South 1B, third one is South 1A. You can select any availability zone where we can create our instance, but right now by default we are choosing, because we are not going to change it, because it is just for the demo purpose. Next one is auto assign public IP. It is already enabled. Just scroll down slowly, and then you can just read all the information given here, and you can change as per your requirement. Here domain zone directory, you can create new directory even. Go down. CPU options is also available. Shutdown behavior is already stopped. Here just read this line, enable termination protection. Here one option, that is enable termination protection is available. Just read carefully. You can protect instance from being accidentally terminated. Once enabled, you won't be able to terminate this instance via the API or AWS management console until termination protection has been disabled. So once we checked here, it means that we can save our instance from the accidental termination. This option is also better for the instance. Then monitoring, Then tenancy, in tenancy once we click, then you can get different option like sed, then dedicated, run a dedicated instance, then dedicated host, right? But right now we are choosing sed, and sed is better because we can reduce overall cost once we choose this option, because we can share our resources among multiple instances, so overall cost can be reduced. And then you can check another option, and as per your need you can change it. Then click on our next step, that is our add storage. As we already discussed that EC2 provides infrastructure as a service, so that AWS is providing infrastructure, and the rest of the thing we have to choose, like operating system or server we have to choose, then types of instance we have to choose, then we can configure instance, and then after we can also add a different storage. But this line you must read here: free tier eligible customer can get up to 30 GB of EBS general purpose SSD or magnetic storage. This is the limit that we cannot cross, otherwise we have to pay. So by default it is a 30, so we are not going to change, we are just keeping it as it is. Now next, that is add tags. You can add maximum 50 different tags, and tags are very much important because tags gives detailed information about our instance. For example, we have chosen server, that is Windows server, so you can give like server name. This is our first tag, and the server name is, for example, Windows server. You can add another tag, for example, name of organization, for example XYZ. So in this way you can give a maximum 50 different tags, and then you can click on configure security group. Our next step, that is our configure security group. This is the step number 6 where we can configure security group. A security group is a set of firewall rules that control the traffic for your instance. So we have two options, like create a new security group or select a existing security group. So here we are creating new security group. For example, our security group is security group 1, and same name in description. For example, we are writing security group 1. By default RDP is available, the protocol is TCP, port range is 3389. You can put here anywhere so that we can access from anywhere. And you can add another rule, like just click here, then you can get a different option. For example, HTTP, HTTPS, etc. So as per your need you can add a number of rules, and then review and launch. This is our last step. This is the review, where you can get information about whatever we have chosen. We have first chosen Microsoft Windows Server 2019. Then we have chosen instance, that is our t2.micro. Then security group we have chosen, that is security group 1. Then instance details, storage, tags, everything you can review, and then after last you can launch your instance. Once we click on launch your instance, select an existing key pair or create a new key pair. If already available one key pair, then no need to create the new key pair, but if it is not available, then you can create new key pair. I am having my first key, it is a key pair, but let us make another key pair, create a new key pair, and then you can give a key pair name, for example second key pair. And then download it. This key pair is very much important, but because when you access your server at that time, this key pair is required to access our server, because from this key pair we can get our password. So it is required to store somewhere where we can easily search. Then you can click on launch instance. Then you can get a launch instance status, that your instance are now launching. You can get some information that you can read from here. At the end you will have one option, that is view instances. You just click on that. Once you click on that, at that time you can get information about our instance. Right now the instance status is running. Here you can read all the information like instance type, that is our T2 micro. Status check is already initializing, so we have to wait for the same. Availability zone, that is AP South 1A. Then monitoring is already disabled. Security group, then after key name. Once you select here, then all the information is available here below. You can read all the information like detail of the instance. Here you can get public IPv4 address. Using this address we can access our server. So this is more important that you need to retain. So all the information like security, whatever we have chosen. Then after networking, storage, status check. Here you can check the status. For example, system status check, that is initializing, and instance status check is also initializing, so that we have to wait. After a few minutes you can refresh here, so that you can check whether our instance is ready or not. So now our instance is ready. Here 2x2 check is available, so that our instance is ready. So now we can connect our instance. You now have to select this instance and then you can click on connect. Once we click on connect, now in a RDP client you can download a remote desktop file. Public DNS is also available. Username is administrator and you can get password from here. You have to just click here. Then the key pair associated with this instance. So second key pair. So you have to just browse it. We already stored our key pair and our name of key pair is second key pair. So just get it. In F drive, I have already stored this key pair. So you have to just select it. Then you have to click on decrypt password. This is the username and password is available. So now we can download remote desktop here. Just wait for the downloading. Once the downloading completed, then we have to open it and then connect it. Once it is connected, then we have to enter user ID and password. So we are logging into the administrator. You have to just click on copy this password and then paste here and then click OK. You just click on yes. Then you will get your remote server. So we have successfully launched our server, and this is our Windows 2019 server. Here this Explorer is available. Here File Explorer is available. You just click on that. This is our File Explorer. You can get all the information like desktop, documents, downloads, picture, etc. Once we click on this PC, you can get information about the size. Here 29.9 GB, that is our 30 GB storage is available. As we already discussed, in our free tier we are getting 30 GB maximum size. So this is our storage. Now you can use this Windows servers to run or to host any application. So this is basic about how we can launch our Windows 2009 server on AWS. So in the same way you can launch any server. Now just close this Windows server. So we are just closing it. Now we are back on our AWS console. Now on this AWS console, now we have to terminate our instance. As we already discussed that once we create our instance on the AWS account, then after completion of our work we have to terminate that instance. We have to delete it. So how we can terminate this instance? We have to just follow some steps to terminate it. we have to just select our instance, so already selected, and then click on action. Inside the action we have one option that is manage instance status. You just click on that, and then there is one option that is terminate. You can click on terminate, so change stats and then click on terminate. So you can get one message that successfully terminated this instance. So in this way we can terminate the instance. So this is all about how we can launch our EC2 instance, or how we can launch our Windows server on AWS. I tried my best to make this video very easy so you can understand all the steps, and I hope it will be useful. So thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you again.